I've attended several workshops that the Minnesota Humanities Center has placed on beginning last week, as well as throughout this week. I've been very impressed by the quality of the presentations as well as the competency of the presenters.
Since January, and I've done innocent classrooms, and this reconstructing classrooms is my second course that I'm doing right now.
I've attended the reconstructing curriculum, which I found quite interesting and quite informative.
I participated in the first cohort of Innocent Classroom, and I had a great experience.
This will be my first involvement with, I think it's MHC. I was invited through Belvedere Elementary, my son's school, so I wanted to be involved with what was going on through the school.
Well, it's my understanding that the workshop today is going to help you how to become more empathetic with the individuals that we educators come in contact with.
Not much except for the little caption that they gave us that was online. It was interesting to me, and I was really happy about it because you could invite participants from your community to join you, so I wanted to be there.
Very little, to be honest with you. I anticipate that I'll be learning, probably expanding upon the theory of reconstructing curriculum, how to implement it within the classroom.
I don't know anything about this workshop. I was invited, and as soon as I saw Minnesota Humanities, I knew I wanted to be involved.
I really don't know too much about the workshop. I'm about to find out and see what's going on. So.
Well, I'm really excited to hear our speaker. I understand he's a very dynamic person, and looking forward to hearing the words that comes out of his mouth.
Awesome. Actually, really awesome. I'm glad to learn. I'm glad I have parents that are here too, so they can learn too, so we can all be involved together because it takes a community.
Well, I hope to take it back to the staff and, as I said, use it within my classroom with my students.
If it's anything like my past experience, I'm sure it's going to be great.
I hope to gain some knowledge. I'm not too keen on what the workshop's about, like I said, so I just want to gain some knowledge on what's going on and just be involved with what's going on in our community.
We have an approach to our work in working with teachers, in working with students, in working with the community. So what does that mean? So that's what this workshop is all about today. And it's very important that each one of you are here. We invited you individually.
There is a retired teacher. His name is Terry Field. His wife still teaches at South, I believe. And those are about the achievement gap. The achievement gap. This group doesn't reach this group. This one doesn't reach this one. But with Minnesota Humanities, the achievement gap is, and I want to get it exactly right, based on a relationship gap of human understanding and meaning.
Oh, good. Let's see. 4. That's not working out well. Finally in kids. And what do you think I was doing with those kids? Was I motivated them? I was taking their children. They were walking away from me very demoralized, not motivated. And I had to think back to what my teachers did. They always gave me the belief that I could make the NFL. That's something I couldn't make up. That's they motivated me. So that, when I changed my mind and said, great for the NFL, you got to know that.
When I have control over Native education, I will reform it so that natives will be taught from childhood that equality with Europeans is not for them. This is written by the Prime Minister, Verbo, who is considered to be the architect of apartheid. So when we hear that, and we think of that pattern of how it's been repeated in our own history, so those of us that are in this room, starting with the indigenous culture, of moving children into orphanages, away from knowing and understanding their own history as a way of destroying it.
I wasn't surprised. It reinforced the good that I think people have in their heart. And I think we need to give individuals the courage to let that good come out.
Yes, it did. I'd never, when they talked about place and how it meant to people, where you're from, I never looked at it except for through my eyes. And I think when they talked about the whole park and all that stuff, it made me realize how important a place is to a person, and we have to respect that. So it did, that helped me. That was something I never really looked at. The significance of someone's place, someone's home to them, and how important it is.
I don't think anything was surprising. It was all refreshing.
I don't know that it surprised me. Well, I will say some things, Native American, some things that were stories that were told, I was surprised. But also, I think we kind of put those things in the back of our mind. I knew it, but you know, once you hear it again, it's like embracing it again and making you aware again.
The entire workshop actually surprised me. What I thought it was compared to what it is, and involving myself in it, it really, I enjoyed myself, actually. Usually when you hear workshops, you might think of somebody talking or just constantly speaking, but the actual involvement and learning the different things about the community, that I enjoyed that. I liked it gave me a different thought process too, to a different way of thinking.
What I've learned about myself is that I need to be more open to a difference of ideas. A lot of times we think that your idea is always the right one. It wasn't so that I thought that. It was just giving me the opportunity that I need to be more empathetic to a different point of view.
Well, sometimes I used to, as a principal, I felt bad sometimes because I used my heart instead of my head or what we're supposed to do. You sometimes get criticized because there's people who want things done that you kind of see needs to be done differently regarding the student and maybe behavior. It made me feel better to know that using your heart is the right decision. Sometimes using what the book says you should do to that person, and every issue is different and every person is different, but using my heart, I felt better about that's what I do, and it made me feel more powerful.
Oh, certainly building the relationships, strengthening the relationships that I have with my students. I feel that that's very important. Learning that by building and strengthening the relationships, it builds or strengthens the achievement gap among students.
Well, we always talk about building relationships, but the strengthening of the relationship that you build, I think, is more important. And I did take that away tremendously. It just like stuck.
I would say an open-minded way of thinking about things, about culture and the way that we view things. The way I view things in the everyday life, the way I go about things, or things that have been taught to me that are necessarily maybe not wrong, but they're different. And it just gave me an open awareness that I appreciate and that I will move on to my child.
Just what I just said, that I need to be just open and more empathetic to what others think how they think. I guess the epistemology of thought.
Yes. I had to realize that my great-grandmother was from the Omaha tribe. So, but she passed away like in the 70s, and it never continued on. And that kind of bothered me because that's a part of me. And I remember going to the powwows. I remember when she was here, it was a part of all of us. But now that she's gone and has been gone, it's kind of like it went away. It's like that's not even part of our culture anymore. It's not even part of my history. So this made me go back and look at everything that's a part of me, not just the African American side of me, but even the Native American side of me. It made me proud.
One that stands out, well, someone told my story, someone that knew me from years back at my table, and she's an administrator, and she told my story. And, I was thinking that she remembered my personal life back when she was my director. She was my principal where I worked, and it brought tears. I mean, it was very emotional, and just so my guess what I'm trying to say is we all have that story like we were told today, but for someone to remember it is just amazing.
The aha moment I would think would be about the Hobo Park. The way that when they were talking about the reconstruction with the interstate, I go and drive that interstate every day, and I never knew that or knew that about that side of town. And the words that they were using with urban development and renewal and everything like that, that's not an urban development. When I hear those things, I feel about a developing community or revising a community, but really to me, in my opinion, they destroyed a community that's not there anymore. So that isn't urban development, and it isn't renewal. So, like I said, I've learned a few things, and I've taken a few things that I did not know before.
Oh, very much so. I think that the more that we are able to open ourselves up to new, inviting things, as well as to understand some of the negatives that we hold in our heart that we don't necessarily know that we hold. So I think, yes, everybody could benefit from it. And
I did today. And I wish, like I told her, I said, I don't know if you can, but I want you to come to another class that we're doing. I'll check and see. But I brought someone with me today. So I believe in it. I think it's a powerful thing.
Actually, definitely. I loved it. I know I'll go home and talk about it. My niece is a teacher, and she'll probably hear about it all night tonight. So.
Yes, I would. I was actually bringing my paper home with me. Like I said, if you have an open mind, if you can, I guess, have an open mind, it brings awareness to the community and to parents, because this really was a workshop. My mother is a teacher at Belvedere, and my son is a student at Belvedere. And as a parent, it gave me awareness and an openness that I didn't know.